Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet our Peek-A-Boo Coverup and our Peek-A-Boo Sweater. So this tutorial will feature both of these patterns. We have a selection of our Peek-A-Boo patterns that all feature this mesh stitch linked double crochet pattern. For these patterns, we'll be using comfy fingering weight yarn. So it is a blend of Pima cotton and acrylic. It is a weight number 1, so these will be nice and light, perfect for spring and summer. And I'll be working with the color Ivory in this tutorial, and the Coverup is crocheted in Peony. You'll need 2 hook sizes for this pattern. We'll be working with the 3.5 millimeter for our bands and edging, and the remainder of the pattern will be worked in the 4 millimeter. These are dots hooks from WeCrochet, so you can purchase the set as well as the yarn on crochet.com, and I'll have the links in the description box below. These patterns are worked in 1 piece flat and will be beginning at the back band. So we're going to start out with our smaller hook, put a slip knot on your hook, and I'm going to chain 21 for the band. So this band is about 3 inches, so it is fairly thick. If you would like to alter that, just alter the length of your chain, and you can it's not going to affect the pattern except for the length. So if you want to change it out, this is where you will make that change. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 21 to get started. So now to work our ribbed band, we're going to do single crochets through the back loop only. So we're going to start by single crocheting in the second chain from the hook, and we'll single crochet across the chain. So you will have a total of 20 stitches. Okay, so now we'll chain 1 and turn, and you'll work now your single crochets through the back loop. So you're just going down through the center of the stitch, working through the back loop only. Single crochets through the back loop only all the way across. So you will want to keep track of your stitches as you go. You will have 20 throughout the band unless you've made an adjustment to make the band thinner or wider. So I'm going to continue across the row. Okay, so once you've worked to the end of the row, we'll chain 1 and turn, and we'll repeat row 2 throughout. So now I want you to follow along with your pattern for the size you're working on. This tutorial is going to cover the size medium, and it will give adjustments for either the Coverup or the sweater. So both patterns will begin the same way. So if you're working on the medium size, we're going to work a total of 102 rows. Our stitch pattern that we're working in that linked double crochet mesh stitch is worked in a multiple of 5 plus 2. So our 100 is a multiple of 5, and then we add 2. Because the pattern will be worked in the multiple across, and then we're going to end with the 2 double crochets, linked double and double crochet stitch. So what I'm going to do now is work up a smaller swatch with you so that I'm not working across the entire width of the sweater. So I have worked up a total of 17 rows. So that is our multiple of 5 plus 2. And we're just going to work over this smaller section. Now, if you're working on your swatch for the pattern, you may want to make it bigger. So I have suggested about 32 stitches for the swatch. You just want to make your swatch ahead of time, just so you're on track with your gauge. And the gauge of this pattern is blocked. So what you'll want to do is block out your piece, just put it on a little blocking mat, to check your gauge. So once you have your rows complete for the size you're working on, we're going to switch over to our larger hook, which is the 4mm. I'm going to chain 1, and then you will work across the length of your band. So depending on the size you're working on, you will have a different number of stitches across. For the medium size, we'll be doing 102. For my small swatch here, I'll be working over 17. So now I find when we're working across single crochet rows, it's really easy to identify the row. I've worked 2 stitches. Now here you can see this row just has this one little loop. So there's my 3rd stitch. The next row is thicker, so it's going to be a little bit harder to push through, but you just push through that thicker section. So there's stitch 4, and then you can see we're back to just that little loop for stitch 5, and then just continue working across. Okay, so I have worked across. Now I'm going to turn, chain 3, and our chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet here and throughout. So this next we'll be doing our beginning linked double crochet. So we're going to go through the 2nd chain from the hook. It can be a little tricky here just to get this through. Okay, we're going to pull up a loop. We're going to go through the next stitch. So we're skipping that 1st stitch, going through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have our beginning linked double crochet, which is linking to our chain. Now we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Now we'll work a double crochet, and then we'll do a linked double crochet. So to do the linked double crochet, we're going to take our hook, we're going to go through the bar of the double crochet stitch. See right here, we're going to pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook. You're going into your next stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, a double crochet in the next, and then we'll do another linked double crochet. So we're going through the bar of our double crochet stitch, pulling up a loop, 2 loops on our hook, go down through the next stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to chain 3, skip 3 stitches. So you can see this is our multiple of 5, 1, 2, 3. So we have our 3 multiples of 5, and then we end with our double crochet and linked double. So do our double crochet, then our linked double crochet. Okay, now yours is going to be much longer going across, but this just gets you started with how our stitch pattern is worked. So now we'll chain 1 and turn. And this row will be working single crochets across. And this is also now our right side of the work. So single crochet in the first, single crochet in the next stitch, then we're working 3 single crochet in our chain space, single crochet in the next stitch, next 2 stitches, and then 3 So a single crochet for every stitch, every chain. One, two, three, and then we're ending. So now it's always a good idea to add a stitch marker to your right side of your work. This is just going to keep you on track throughout the pattern so you don't get confused. Okay, so we've marked the right side and then that's just going to keep you on track. Now, we're going to just repeat the last 2 rows for our pattern. So it's a really simple, easy repeat. This is going to work up really quickly as well. Even though we're working with the fingering weight yarn, it will work up rather quickly. So we're going to chain 3, turn. You can turn and chain 3 or chain 3 and turn. I find sometimes turning it, working it and then turning it, it's a little bit maybe easier to get through that loop of the chain. So we're going down into the second chain, okay, pulling up a loop, 2 loops on our hook, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet in the next, and then a linked double crochet. 1, 2, 3, double crochet, linked double crochet, 1, 2, 3, end with a double and a linked double. And then you will repeat your single crochet row, chain 1 and turn. Okay, so now what you're going to do is continue to work this. So this is going to be, your back section will be worked below your underarm. So for the sweater, you're going to work a total of 28 rows. And for the cover up, you're going to work a total of 52 rows. So this is row 1, this is row 2, row 3, row 4. Now I'd be on to row 5. So you're going to be ending on the 28th row, you'll be ending on that double link double row, or on row 52, you'll be ending on that same double linked double row. So get that complete. Once you have that finished, we'll meet up again and I'm going to show you how to add on your sleeve, the chains for your sleeves, so you can work that next section. Remember, this is all being worked as one piece so that you can just continually work it, and then we just have to seam down the sides to put it together. Okay, so I finished working at my rows. For the sweater, I'm doing a total of 28 rows. For the cover up, I worked a total of 52. So depending on also your sleeve length, you can alter that in multiples of 5. So I'm gonna grab another ball of yarn just so I can join on my chain. So for a 3/4 length sleeve, which is about 14 inches, you'll be chaining out a total of 75. And for the full length sleeve, which is about 18 inches, I am going to do a chain of 95. Okay, so we're going to join up in this corner. And I'm going to chain out 95 because I'm doing a full length sleeve, or you can chain out 75 for a 3/4 length sleeve, or any combination of multiples of 5 stitches. And once you get 95, we're just going to fasten off. And now this side will be set up for you to work right across as we work the next row. So now when we come back over to our working yarn, we need to chain out one extra stitch for our turning chain. So instead of 95, we're going to chain out 96. And if you're doing the 3/4 length sleeve, go ahead and chain out 76. Okay, and once you've worked your 96 stitches, we're going to work a single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain across. So you'll be working across your chain 95 stitches. Then once we get to the body section, you'll continue working your pattern as normal, working your single crochet stitches across the body. And then as you get to your other chain, you're going to just continue to work single crochet stitches across it. Okay, so I'm almost across the body section, working as normal in our pattern, doing our single crochets. So I'm finishing here with a single crochet in our last two. And then we get to the next chain. So this chain, you want to work across your 95 chains for 95 stitches. Or if you're working on the shorter sleeve, you'll be working across 75. So I'm going to continue across this sleeve. Okay, so once you get all the way across, we're going to get right back into our pattern. So we'll chain 3. We'll turn our work, going through the second chain from the hook. We're going to pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet in the next, go through, pulling up a loop, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're just continuing with our pattern across. So as you get across the sleeve, you should be ending with your chain 3, skip 3, and then you're right back into the pattern with the body. So we'll double crochet and then do our linked. Chain 3, and we're right back into our pattern across the body. You'll work across the body and continue with your pattern right across the other sleeve. Once you complete this row, you're just going to continue working in your stitch pattern for a total of 17 rows. So you will be ending on your single crochet row, and that will be half of the sleeve width worked up. So I'm going to go ahead and work that, and then I'll meet you up for the next step. Okay, so I have worked up 17 rows of the sleeve, and what I've done at this point is marked off the neck. So what you want to do is count over 117. For this size, you're going to count over 117 stitches and mark it. You're going to do the same thing on this side, 117 stitches, and mark the 117th stitch. Okay, so you should have, for your neck opening, you should have 58 stitches. This is a fairly wide neck. If you wanted to adjust it, you could do so by moving your marker. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other side. So if you want to move it in 5 stitches on this side, you could move it in 5 stitches on this side. That's up to you, but if for ease, just follow along with what I've done, and that'll make it easier for you with all of your stitch counts. And once that's all marked, you're going to be on your wrong side. We're going to continue working 4 more rows. This has just pulled out a little bit, so I'm just going to crochet this back. We ended here on that single crochet row, the 17th row. So now we're going to be back to a double crochet row. So we're going to chain 3. Work that linked. Double crochet, chain 3. And I'm going to continue across in the pattern. So you will be ending in the marked stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and work across, and I'll meet you up at the marked stitch. Okay, so I've worked all the way across. I'm going to remove the marker and finish with my linked double crochet. Chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to do our single crochet row, come back with the double again, and finish with the single crochet row. So do the 4 rows. This is the neck opening we're working on. So we want to have 4 rows on this side. Then we need to have 4 rows on this side as well. So make sure that you're on the wrong side of your work. So I'm going to grab another ball just to show you how to work this before I complete this side. So we're going to join into the marked stitch. So I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook. And I'm joining into that stitch. I'm going to chain 3 and then a linked double crochet. Chain 3 and continue in my pattern, completing a total of 4 rows, ending on the single crochet row. So our single crochet row will end on this side here, and then we'll be making a chain for our neck so that we have our complete neck opening. So I'm going to go ahead and work up each side 4 rows, and then we'll meet back up again. Okay, so we've worked up 4 rows on each side for our neck opening. Now our yarn here we're going to fasten off. Side to the inside of the neck. And now I'm going to come back to my working yarn. So we want to come back here to the outside of the sleeve. And we finished with the single crochet row. So we're going to work across now in our linked double crochet row. So I'm going to chain 3 and turn and just continue in the pattern basically across. And once I get to the neck opening, then I'll show you the next step. So you're just going to continue working this pattern across. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll meet you up at the neck for the next step. Okay, so I've finished with my last linked double. Now I'm going to chain 58 to close up the neck. Okay, so we're coming back to this side and we need to continue working our double crochet stitches across. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to make a double crochet and then a linked double crochet. And chain 3. And continue with our stitch pattern across. And then what we'll do is, as we come back and work single crochets, we're going to work single crochets across the chain. Okay, so then once you get all the way across, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And you're going to do your single crochet row. So just follow your pattern you've been working. 1, 2, 3, and then singles in the doubles. And I'll meet you up again when we get to the neck. Okay, so once you get to your neck opening, you're going to work across your 58 chains in single crochet. And then once you get across your chain, you're just going to continue with your single crochet pattern. And then you're going to get right back into just working back and forth in rows in your pattern. And you'll want to work the other section of the sleeve. So you'll be working another 17 rows. Okay, so I'm working on the double crochet row. I'm going to chain 3. And you're just going to work your pattern across now your single crochet, skipping. So 1, 2, 3, and then work a double crochet, and then your linked double. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and just continue across in this pattern. So you're just going to continue working the other half of your sleeve now. So follow along with your pattern for the size you're working on as to how many rows you need to crochet. And then once we get that done, once you get the other half of your sleeve complete, then we'll be marking off for the body section on the front and continue working that in finishing with your band to match the back. Okay, so we've worked the next 17 rows of the sleeve. So if we count by twos, starting at our double crochet row, so this would be row 1, row 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, ending with the single crochet row is 17. So now we have marked the right side of our work, and we'll be joining back on the wrong side because we're going to be working now a double crochet row, and we're going to be working that front panel. So I've already marked with my stitch markers the body section. So there's a few ways you can do that. One, if you just take your back panel and you follow that double crochet line, you know you're going to be needing to put your marker here. You can do that on this side as well. So follow that double crochet row all the way, and your double crochet rows are going to need to start here in your marked stitch. Now also, if you count across from the edge of your sleeve, if we were just to count our 2 double crochet bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it would be the 20th that we would be adding our marker. Now, if you adjusted the sleeve length in any way, that will be different, but for this one and this sleeve length, that is where you'll be marking it. So those are 2 ways you can easily mark off your body section. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to make sure to finish this off, and then we're going to fasten off this sleeve section. Okay, so I've put a slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to join into that marked stitch. It's the first double, and I'm going to chain 3 as my first double crochet, and then a linked double. One, 2, 3. And now we're just going to continue working across in our pattern, and you'll be ending in the marked stitch. And then you're going to continue working your rows of doubles and linked doubles with your single crochet row, and you're going to work your rows to match your back panel. So work the same number of rows, and then we're going to meet up again. Okay, so we're finishing off on our single crochet row, and we're going to fasten this off. We're ending on our right side, and I prefer to do my slip stitch band going across on the right side, so I am going to join back over so that we're slip stitching to the right side and not the wrong side. So what we're going to do we're going to be joining with our smaller hook. So let's put a slip knot on our hook. Join to the first stitch, and I'll chain 21. In the second chain from the hook, we'll work a single crochet and single crochet into each chain. So we're going to have 20. So now once you get all the way down, take a look at your stitches along the base. We're going to skip over this first one because we've already slip stitched into it to crochet that first row. We're going to crochet a row per stitch along the band. So we're going to slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to crochet 2 more rows. So we turn, we skip the 2 slip stitches that we just made, and then we're going to single crochet through the back loop. At the end of the row, we're going to chain 1 and turn and work back down single crochets through the back loop only. And now we're going to slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. And always remember to double check. You don't want to go back into a stitch you've already slip stitched into. You don't want to skip this stitch here. If you go back into this stitch, you're going to have too many rows. If you skip this stitch, you'll have too few. So just make sure to look at your stitches and make sure you're slip stitching into the correct ones. So now we're just repeating the same process. You skip the 2 slip stitches and work your row. Single crochets through the back loop. And you're going to do this all the way across. And then once we get this complete, we can meet back up to seam it together, but you probably actually will want to block it. So we will meet back up again. Once I have this complete, we'll want to block the top out to measurements, give it a nice block. So to do the blocking, you're going to soak it in some Woolwash or just some mild detergent for about 25 to 30 minutes, just lukewarm water. Then you're going to squeeze out any of the water, roll it in a towel if you need to, and then lay it out on your blocking mats and pin it to the measurements in the pattern. This is just going to ensure a nice, it's going to pull your stitches out nicely. It's going to give you a nice pressed look. Then what we'll do is seam the sides and the sleeves, and our top will be complete. So I'm going to go ahead and work that band up off camera, and then we'll meet back up. Okay, so we finished blocking our top. I've taken it off the blocking mats. I allowed it to fully dry. And now what we want to do is seam the sides. So you're going to put your right sides facing. If you don't have your stitch marker on, I can always tell by my single crochet row. If you look at your single crochets, you should be able to determine the right side. So let me see here. I can look at my stitch and see how you can see more of the full part of the stitch right here. So that's going to be my right side. So when I sew this, I want my right sides facing. And I do have some tails to weave, but I'm just going to get this going for you so you can see. We have a long tail left, and I will use that to whip stitch the sides together. It's important that as you are sewing this, you make sure that lace pattern is going to, or the mesh pattern is lining up. So the single crochet rows, the bigger gap, you want to make sure they're all completely lined up so you get that nice professional finish. It's going to blend really well. So let me get my yarn on my needle. And I will have to weave that tail, but I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna join on here to the bottom. I usually want a tail that's double the length that I'm going to sew, so I have enough. And as we work sewing the band, it's just going through each stitch on each side, so it's pretty easy. Sometimes I will skip a stitch if they're really small stitches like this. I'm going to go ahead and sew up the band. You are working on the cover up. I don't sew all of it together. I leave it open so that it can flow better around the hips. So you can decide if you want to start where you want to start sewing. So if you're doing the cover up, the longer version, and you want the sides left open, then you're going to leave that. And also for the longer version, we did do a longer back than the front, so they're not going to line up perfectly. What you want to make sure is that you're lining up your underarm and making sure you're going, so that may even be the better option, is to start at your sleeve and then just seam down as much as you're going to sew. And even this, the shorter version, I could have started at the sleeve and worked this way. Either end is fine. Okay, so once you're getting to this section, it's really easy to get it off track if you're not paying close attention and lining up your stitches, getting this, because sometimes even with blocking, some areas might have gotten a little bit more stretch, so it might not line up just perfect. So you're going to want to make sure as you sew it, you're putting everything in line. Just take your time. If you make a mistake, you can always pull it back. I like to always leave my tails until I try everything on and just make sure the fit is good, because even if you put this on and you find you don't like that your band is tighter around the bottom and you want to loosen that off, then you can always pull back your work. It's so much more work once you weave in these tails, so if you just leave them, you can make any changes if you don't like the fit. So you're going to continue this all the way up to your underarm. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that your underarm, it all lines up, and then do the exact same thing with the sleeve. You're working down the sleeve and making sure that your pattern lines up together. So I'm going to go ahead and seam both of my sides off camera, and then we can meet back up again when this is complete. Okay, so once you have it all seamed, so here's our seamed edge, We're going to finish off our neck with around 3 rounds of single crochet. So put a slip knot on your hook. And I'm just going to choose my back at this point and join in. Chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet. In each stitch. So when you're working across the neck opening, you just want to evenly space. I'm looking at doing about 2 single crochet for the double crochet row, 1 for the single crochet row. Okay, so just make sure to evenly space those stitches across. And then we get back into our stitches. So I'm just going to keep working this all the way around, and we'll meet back up at the join. Okay, so once you get all the way around, we'll slip stitch to join. I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to do 2 more rounds. So we're going to work just 1 single crochet into every stitch around. And I'm going to do that for 2 more rounds so that I have a total of 3. And then once I have this complete, we'll meet back up again, and we're going to add a band around the sleeve as well. Okay, so once you work all the way around, you're going to slip stitch to join in the first single crochet, and then you can fasten off and we'll weave in that tail. Next, we're going to do the edge of the sleeve, and I did 2 rounds on this sleeve already, so let's go and join onto our other sleeve, and I'm going to the inside seam. So the seam here, let's put a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to join. Chain 1, and we'll be doing a single crochet for a single crochet row, and then 2 for the double crochet row. So 1 for a single crochet row, and then 2. Okay, and we're going to work that all the way around. Okay, so once you get all the way around, you can slip stitch to join, and I'm going to do 1 more round. So chain 1, single crochet in each stitch around. And if you needed to add a bit more length to your sleeve, you could always do more rounds. And if you wanted to pull this in a little snugger, you could always skip some stitches just to make it a little bit more snug around the wrist. I'm going to go ahead and work the rest of my stitches, and then I'll just finish with a slip stitch and weave in my tails. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell so you stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box below this video for all the links. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.